Okay, 200 Q&A. Number 1, proper names, Dr. Peters, D. Vulcan, Dr. Osteen, SDI, X-rays, MRI. So you never made any such statement to Dr. Peters on August 7th?
No, I did not.
Do you recall talking to Dr. Peters on August 7th about the car door situation?
No.
Was there anyone around who witnessed you slamming your hand inside your car door?
Yes, my friend saw me.
What is the name of your friend?
We called him D.
So there was someone who witnessed you slamming your hand in the car door?
I used to work with D at Vulcan.
Do you know his last name?
I forgot his last name.
When you got your hand caught in the car door, was it at home?
No.
Was the car out on the road somewhere?
It was on the job in the parking lot.
Was D in the parking lot when this happened?
Yes.
How did you slam your hand in the car door?
I don't know. I just did.
What happened after you closed the car door on your hand?
My window was broken, so I told D to reach in and open up the door.
Did D work the same shift as you?
Yes, he did.
Did you both work under the same supervisor?
Yes.
Did this accident happen before or after work?
It happened before work.
Were you still able to work on that shift with the injury to your hand?
I can't recall that.
Now, you've been treating with Dr. Osteen since July of last year up until now, is that correct?
Yes, I have.
So you've been under his care for 1 year and 5 months?
Yes.
How often do you see Dr. Osteen now?
I see him every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
So 3 times a week you see him?
Yes, 3 times a week.
Have you been seeing him 3 times a week since you first started treating with him?
Yes.
What parts of your body does Dr. Osteen treat?
The left-hand side of my back and above it.
Does he treat you all the way from the base of your skull down to your tailbone?
Yes. He does a treatment like that.
Is it always Dr. Osteen that you see at the clinic, or do other doctors treat you too?
I just see him.
After you saw Dr. Osteen the first time, did he tell you to stay off work?
Yes, he did.
Did he say that you could go back to some kind of modified work at any time?
No, he didn't.
Have you ever discussed with him about being released to some kind of work?
I don't remember if I did or not.
You don't recall a conversation ever coming up with your doctor about being released to work a modified amount?
No, I don't.
Have you ever worked for anyone else since July?
No.
Did you file for disability insurance?
Yes, I did.
Do you know when it was that you filed for those benefits?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Have you received any of the disability benefits?
Yes, I have.
How much do you receive from them when you get a check?
Oh, I don't get them now. I was getting them before.
Do you know for how many months they covered you for SDI benefits?
It was like about 5 or 6 months or something.
How long has it been since you've gotten an SDI check?
It's been a while.
Do you recall how much those checks were when you received them?
I got $457 a month.
In the 1 year and 5 months that you've been getting treatment from Dr. Osteen, has your back condition stayed the same or gotten better?
It's gotten a little bit better, but I'm not 100% yet.
How much percent improved would you say you are at this time?
I don't know. Maybe about 65 to 75% better.
In other words, back to about 65 or 75% of normal?
No, that's not normal.
You don't consider yourself back to 65 to 75% of normal?
Oh, of normal, yes. Yes, I do.
Has your doctor taken x-rays of your back?
Yes, he has.
Did he sit you down and tell you all that was wrong with your back according to those x-rays?
Yes, he did.
Do you recall what he told you about them?
Actually, what he says is my left back and my leg.
What did he tell you that the x-rays showed?
My back was way off. It was off.
Has he ever referred you out for an MRI?
No, he hasn't.
Has there been any discussion about you getting an MRI?
No, we haven't talked about it lately.
But that is something he has recommended in the past to you?
He did say I might have to go get an MRI someday.
So that is something Dr. Osteen has recommended to you?
Yes.
Do you presently have pain in either of your legs?
Yes, I do.
Which leg is bothering you at this time?
I just had a pain through my left-hand side of my leg.
So when I ask you about leg pain, are you referring to your left leg?
Yes, my left leg.
Are you talking about your upper left thigh area?
Yes, I am.
In the past, have you ever had any hernias?
No, I never did.
Is it correct that you have not paid Dr. Osteen for any of the treatment he's provided to you?
Correct.
You don't have any medical insurance coverage of your own at this time?
No, I don't.
Have you and Dr. Osteen had any discussions as to when, if ever, your treatment with him is going to come to an end?
No.
How do you spend your normal day now that you're not working any longer?
I just basically stay home. I can't lift or bend or anything.
Are you saying you can't engage in any kind of lifting activities right now?
No, I can't.
So at the present, okay, Q&A number 2 at 200, proper names, Norma Thomas Garner, Mrs. Garner, 3rd Street, 3rd, Highland Park Avenue, Electric Power Board, and Power Board. State your name, please, ma'am.
Norma Thomas Garner.
Mrs. Garner, were you the party driving this automobile on August 16th, 1992?
I was.
Tell us exactly what happened.
Well, there was an average amount of traffic on 3rd Street, and I lived in the area, and I was driving slow. I stopped to make a left turn at 3rd and Highland Park Avenue, and while waiting there to turn, I had my signal on, and this truck hit me from behind.
Did you make an abrupt stop?
No, I knew where I was going and knew where I was going to stop, and I wasn't driving fast.
Had you been there very long before the truck struck you?
I had been waiting there a few minutes.
Do you mean minutes in terms of 60 seconds, or do you mean a short time?
Well, I would estimate it would be 2 minutes or something like that.
Waiting for traffic?
Yes.
Do you know who struck you?
Well, I don't remember the man's name, but he was driving an electric power board truck. I know that much.
You know it was the power board truck because you saw the name on it?
It was a power board truck.
But I mean, this is how you knew it was a power board truck, is that right?
I knew it was a power board truck. As soon as he jumped out, he called the supervisor or lawyer for the company, whoever it was, and he was there before anybody else, before the police even got there.
How would you describe the impact that happened, Mrs. Garner?
It was a great impact because I wasn't expecting it, and I wasn't prepared for an impact in the first place.
Had you observed the truck in your rearview mirror as you approached the intersection?
It was at a distance. I wasn't expecting him to hit me.
I understand that, but did you observe the truck in your rearview mirror?
I saw the truck.
You did see the truck before it struck you.
Yes.
How far back was the truck when you first saw it?
Maybe it was a car length behind.
How fast did it appear to be traveling?
I couldn't say. I know traffic was going kind of slow, just average. I don't know really.
In other words, you don't know how fast he was going?
I don't know how fast he was going.
You said you had your signal on,
Yes, I did.
and you had stopped and had been stopped for about 2 minutes.
I think so.
How long had you had your signal on?
Well, since I knew where I was going, I would say about a block, maybe about a block before I got to the intersection.
You turned your signal on then about a block before you got to the intersection?
I knew where I was going.
And the first time you saw this truck behind you was when he was about a car length away from you just before the impact.
I saw all the traffic and I paid no particular attention to him.
As I understand your testimony, this was the first time that you recall seeing his truck. Is that right?
I didn't pay the truck any real attention. I just knew it was back behind me. I just knew he was back there.
Just before the accident occurred?
Well, I wouldn't say just before.
I mean, when he was a car length away?
Yes,
Was your vehicle knocked to any distance after the impact?
it was knocked quite a distance.
Quite a distance?
A good distance. Enough to knock me.
How far, in your opinion, was your vehicle knocked from the force of the impact?
Well, I will say I don't know. I couldn't judge, really, the distance that you are supposed to stop at a red light, but it knocked me kind of under the light. I will say that.
The front end of your car was knocked under the light?
Yes,
I'm not familiar with the light at this intersection. Does it have a left turn arrow?
it does. Wait, let me see. No, it does not. It had 3 lights on it, red, yellow, and green.
When you first pulled up to stop, what color was the light?
It was green.
Did it remain green then until you were struck?
Yes, it did.
What part of the vehicle was damaged the most as a result of the impact, the vehicle that you were driving?
Well, I suppose it was the left-hand side, but I was pretty upset at the time, and I don't really know.
You don't know what part of your vehicle was damaged?
I was really very upset.
Was your vehicle knocked at an angle or was it knocked straight under the red light?
As far as I know, it was knocked straight under the light.
When the accident was all over and everything, were you still in the left lane of travel?
Yes. I don't think I was knocked out of the lane of travel. I was just knocked.
Just knocked straight forward.
Yes, I think so.
Did you have your wheels cut prior to making a turn?
No, I did not.
Was the accident severe enough that you were hurt?
Yes, I was.
Had you been involved in an accident in this automobile any time before?
No, I was not.
Did you know that the automobile had been damaged before?
Yes, I noticed that it had been damaged before.
Did the manner in which it drove, did it seem to drive all right even though it was damaged before?
As far as I could tell, there was nothing wrong with the way it was driving.
Do you know whether or not the signal lights on the car were working on this occasion?
They were definitely working.
How do you know that?
Well, this car belongs
Okay. 180 Q&A number 1. Piedmont Hospital, X-rays, Piedmont Clinic, Adams, Dr. Simpson, Peachtree, City of Atlanta. All right. Where did you go when you got in the car with your husband at that time?
I went home.
Okay. That night, what parts of your body were hurting, if any were in fact hurting?
My back, my shoulder, my ankle. The leg hurt me for a while too. It started at the ankle and came up to the knee. Everything on that side of my body hurt.
Did you seek any medical attention for your pain at that time?
Not that night. I thought it would be okay by the next day.
When is the first time that you sought some medical advice or treatment?
The next evening.
Which would have been the evening of the 20th?
That's right, the 20th.
Or would it have been the 21st?
The 21st.
Okay. And who did you see for your medical problems?
I went to Piedmont Hospital and they took x-rays.
Did you, during the day of the 22nd, go to work?
I went that morning, but I couldn't stay. I was too painful. I was in too much pain to work.
What time did you leave work that day?
I left work around 12 or earlier.
Where did you go after you left work?
Went home for a while and then, let me see. What time did I leave work? Well, I'm trying to think. I don't remember. I know that I ended up in the hospital because I was in so much pain.
Did you go home from work or did you go straight to the hospital?
No, I think I went home first.
How did you get home?
My husband drove me home.
Do you yourself drive a car?
Yes, I drive. I know how to drive.
All right. At Piedmont Hospital, then, they took x-rays of what parts of your body, if you know?
My arms, the whole left side, the back.
Were you admitted to the hospital at that time?
No, they didn't admit me.
What else did they do for you at this visit other than taking the x-rays?
They gave me something for my pain. I can't remember what it was.
Some kind of prescription?
Prescription. And they told me I had to go to the clinic. So I went to the clinic the next day. I went to see the doctor there.
Okay. What is the name of the clinic?
Piedmont Clinic.
So your first visit to the Piedmont Clinic was the following day, which was the 22nd?
Either the 22nd or the 23rd. I'm not sure.
Did you see a doctor at the clinic that day?
Yes.
Who was that doctor?
That's why I called the doctor, because he was not in, and made the appointment.
What is the doctor's name?
Adams. Dr. Adams.
Do you remember what his specialty is?
I really don't.
How many times did you see Dr. Adams at the Piedmont Clinic?
I saw him 2 times.
What did he do for you during those visits?
Gave me prescriptions for pain medicine.
What did they tell you at Piedmont Hospital about your condition on the night of the accident or the following day after the accident?
The doctors said we don't see any broken bones.
Is that all he said to you?
Well, as I remember.
Okay. Do you remember the doctor's name?
Dr. Adams.
At the hospital?
No, I don't remember his name.
All right. You visited Dr. Adams 2 times. He gave you prescriptions. What else did he tell you about your condition?
He said that it would be very painful for a while, that all he could do for me is give me medication.
What parts of your body did he say were going to be very painful?
My shoulder, my arm, and at that time, my ankle and my back.
You don't recall the kind of medication he gave you?
No, I don't.
Did he take x-rays of you at the Piedmont Clinic?
No, he didn't. He relied on the x-rays from the hospital.
Did you see any other doctors for your injuries as a result of this accident?
Yes. Afterwards, I wasn't getting any better. I was missing out on business. I had some people that I had to find houses for, and I just was in so much pain. I just went to Dr. Simpson.
Where is Dr. Simpson located?
Oh gosh, down on Peachtree. I can't remember. Down on Peachtree.
On Peachtree in the city of Atlanta?
Yes, sir.
And this was subsequent or after 2 visits to Dr. Adams?
That was after. It wasn't getting any better, so I went to him.
Is there a reason that you didn't return to Dr. Adams?
Not especially, no reason.
Okay, how did you know to go to Dr. Simpson?
Well, someone recommended him to me.
Who recommended him?
This person, I don't know exactly the name of the person, just gave me his telephone number because I told him how much pain I was in. He said, well, here is a doctor, told me about him.
You don't remember who referred you to him?
No, not exactly.
Was it someone at work who referred him?
No, it was someone in the neighborhood.
All right, so you went to Dr. Simpson. When was your first visit with him? Okay, 180. Q&A number 2. Mr. McKay, Mr. Warner, Adams Avenue, Allstate, Sears, and Broadway. The question then is, how far was the front of your car to the curb line on the northwest side of this street that you were crossing?
I would say it was 4 or 5 feet from this mythical curb line.
That is the front of your car?
The front.
What was the place of impact on your car, Mr. McKay?
The front end, the right side.
The front end on the right side. Do you remember what part of Mr. Warner's car hit your car?
It was the left side to the rear.
When did you see Mr. Warner's automobile?
When I entered that so-called third lane we have been talking about.
Where was it when you first saw it?
It was in front of me.
In which lane?
It was in the third lane, in the so-called third lane.
How long had you been able to see that automobile?
Just a flash.
Then you first saw it when it was in front of you?
That is true.
Do you mean in front of your whole car, or was it to the right or to the left?
I think to the right front.
Had you started to move at the time that you first saw this automobile?
I had already started to move after I looked to the right and to the left.
Then you were moving at the time you saw Mr. Warner's automobile.
That is true.
Did you see where he came from?
Not really.
Did you have a clear vision of that third lane from the point where you were stopped in the second lane up to the intersection with Adams Avenue?
It was partially clear.
Well, could you clarify that as to what you mean by partially clear?
Only obliterated by any distortion that may come looking through some cars that were already stopped. You know, other cars that were still moving. So to that degree, it was not clear.
So cars were partially stopped and some were moving. Is that what you are saying?
That's true.
Where were these cars that were partially stopped?
They were still coming from Adams Avenue.
You mean they were coming around the intersection?
That is true.
From the point where you were sitting in the second lane stopped, were you able to see up to Adams Avenue to see the cars that were making that turn?
I really don't remember that.
When you were stopped in the second lane before going across into the third lane or going across the third lane, were any of the cars in the second lane obstructing your view?
I don't believe they were.
Did you notice whether any cars were coming out of the gas station lot at the time?
No, I didn't.
Do you know or not whether Mr. Warner's car had pulled out of the second lane into the third lane?
No, I don't know that.
When the accident occurred, did you immediately get out of your car?
Yes.
At this point then, your car and Mr. Warner's car were still in the third lane.
I don't remember exactly. I believe I parked my car in the large concrete area near the gas station.
Did you ever get out of your car before you moved out of the third lane?
No.
Did Mr. Warner move his car out of the third lane?
I believe he left it in there for a moment.
Did he get out of it then?
Yes.
Immediately after the accident, did the two of you speak?
Yes, we did.
Did you exchange identity at that time?
We did.
Do you recall saying to Mr. Warner that you did not see him?
I don't recall saying that.
Do you recall saying anything to him?
Yes.
What was that?
I inquired as to whether he was hurt. I was concerned whether he was all right, and he said he was fine. We talked about whether he worked and where I worked. I determined that he worked at the Allstate or Sears gas station at night, and he did say something to the effect that he was sorry because I had such a nice car. I said, "You must have been very anxious to get home because you really zoomed through that intersection." And this was the gist of the conversation, but it was friendly.
Now, you stated that you said to him that he zoomed through the intersection?
Yes.
Did you see him coming through the intersection?
Not when he was in the intersection, no. I concluded that he must have zoomed through.
You don't know whether he even came through the intersection?
I assumed he came through because he said he worked at the Sears station, which is on Broadway, and that he came through.
But in fact, you didn't see it?
I didn't see it, no.
Do you recall how fast Mr. Warner was going at the time you first saw him?
No.
Approximately?
20 or 30 miles. It is just a guess.
You first saw him in front of you to your right,
That is true.
and you had said an unobstructed view from the place where you were sitting, like in the traffic in the third lane up to Adams Avenue.
I think I said it was partially obstructed.
Was it partially obstructing it? I don't think we already clarified that.